Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. I'm going to be talking to you about TikTok and vertical videos and how they can benefit you as a language learner, but also if you happen to create content online, how that can work for you too. So I'll flick over. I've got a quick little presentation for you here, but if you're watching this live, feel free to ask questions. And of course, I'll give all of my social media so that if you watch this after the fact, you can reach out to me that way. So a lot of you may have kind of vague familiarity with TikTok. What is it? And I want to give you an overview of that in multiple different aspects today. So you may know me, of course, from my blog, Fluent in 3 Months. But one thing I think is quite interesting is that I've been making YouTube videos for 13 years, actually. And I've amassed 12 million views in those 13 years, which is very impressive. I mean, there's nothing to sniff at with that. But I've only been uploading TikToks actively in the last 6 months. I've had a TikTok account for a very long time. Like I signed up to Musical.ly, which was the predecessor to TikTok. So I've been in that space, but I haven't really actively uploaded until the last 6 months. And my TikTok page in the first 3 months of this year had gotten 3 million views. So the possibilities are much wider than you can get with YouTube. There are advantages and there are disadvantages, and I want to kind of touch on a bit of the two of them and dive into how you can explore TikTok and see, like, try to understand what is TikTok. So yeah, that's who I am. You know me from Fluent in 3 Months, and you'll hopefully see what I have to say about my experience on TikTok. So TikTok is not the only thing I'm going to be talking about today, because everything I'm referring to is relevant to vertical videos in general. So vertical videos are very short form content. Usually 15 seconds was the baseline, and 15 seconds tends to be what a lot of the videos work around, but some content creators can upload much longer than this. So at the moment, and if you're watching this months after this video, some of the things I say may have already changed. But at the moment on Instagram, we have parallel to Instagram called Instagram Reels, and the maximum on Instagram Reels is 30 seconds. But then back on TikTok, most people can upload videos up to 1 minute long, but some people, like myself, because I've amassed over 30,000 followers, and that's the current criteria, you can upload 3-minute videos. But generally, you don't actually tend to see that many longer videos because of how the platform works. So the videos are also repeated, and they're, of course, vertical, which means they work on your phone. Like if you imagine just how you hold your phone and watch your videos, they work that way. And then you swipe up to move to the next one. But generally, like if the video is short, people might end up watching it several times. So if it's a 5-second video or a 10-second video, it'll be repeated over and over again. And you only really tend to see this on mobile devices. You can kind of watch them in your browser and stuff, but people watch them on mobile for the most part. And now one of the things that are trickiest about it for people who are much more used to the likes of YouTube is that it's way more specifically catered to shorter attention spans. This will bring a lot of criticism from people who think, as it stands, society is already suffering from short attention span issues. And, you know, that's maybe a topic for another day. I'm more of the mindset that if something is used by a lot of people, I see it as an opportunity to maybe spread some language encouragement. So I just accept things as they are. But it is very true that TikTok is kind of catering to this trend that people really don't want to put in longer time to absorb more information like they would with a YouTube video. So you can either complain about that and be like, back in my day, people would sit down and watch a documentary for 3 hours. Or you could just accept it and be like, sorry, that's my, I'm going to be sharing my TikTok with you. And sometimes if you leave the screen on, it restarts a TikTok. So that you can push against this or you can accept it. So I've decided to accept it. So with that in mind, if you are not familiar with TikToks, you may have a few myths, like, is it only for young people, for instance? Well, initially, yes. And another issue that people may kind of think of is it's only for people who do silly dances. And that's kind of, it was built upon Musical.ly, which was a platform where people would do something very tailor-made to music videos, generally silly dances. But it's really exploded in the last couple of years, and it's gone in different directions. So even though the majority of the users are young, it's really starting to get used by a lot of people across many different ages. So with that in mind, you may be thinking, if you're watching this, you may think, well, I've personally never used TikTok. And I would say that that's a myth. That's actually incorrect. Even if you've never downloaded the app, you have actually interacted with TikTok. It's extremely unlikely that you haven't, because if you're in a WhatsApp group, or if you're even scrolling through Facebook, like if you're online and consuming content in some form, and even some TV shows have started to show TikToks, you will have recognized them. You'll have seen those vertical videos that, because they've gone viral so much, people tend to share them a lot. Now, is it a waste of time? Yes, it is. It is absolutely a waste of time for a lot of people, that you could spend hours scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and you won't get anything done. I'm going to try and suggest more useful ways that we can use TikTok to actually improve our language learning. But it is true, but for the most part, if you don't do it with any kind of intention, it can just be a way to while away the hours. And like, I might use it for an hour or so, and I'll try to keep that research based. But if I do, I'll do something like screen share it onto a bigger screen, because otherwise I'm hunched over my phone like this and I actually have a sore neck. So you actually have to watch yourself if you use it with any kind of consistency. And in terms of, if you're a content creator, it's a mixed bag, because I have gotten millions and millions of views, but I've definitely gotten better impacts for my YouTube videos. So my YouTube videos, people are more likely to engage, they're more likely to check out my other stuff. But because of the nature of the short attention span, you don't have as likely an option of people who are going to get in touch with you afterwards, maybe hire you, or maybe check out your other content. So it's much more of a numbers game, that you get through to a lot more people. And since I've gotten through to more people, I have seen spill over to Fluent in 3 months. So, you know, whether it's useful or not, I think is less interesting of a question than the fact that it is just becoming one of the major platforms that people tend to use to consume content. So I think, as someone who creates content, it's just important for me to be there, because people are more likely to find me if they're spending more time on that app. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, you know, again, I'm more of a YouTube person. I prefer my videos to be like regular, you know, as we call it, landscape or horizontal videos, like the one you're currently seeing me in this live stream. But technically, you can't really start saying that anymore, because YouTube itself, here's a quick screenshot I took. You'll notice YouTube have added to their mobile app their shorts. So the three words in this industry right now that are currently the biggest one is TikTok, and then Reels, or Reels, for Instagram, and then Shorts, like, you know, shorts that you would wear instead of trousers or pants. Shorts are, because they're short videos, is YouTube's terminology for, essentially, they've all copied the same format, that it is a vertical video that ticks all those boxes that I said, that you swipe up and that repeats itself. So a YouTube video, when you finish a YouTube video, a generic or standard, I should say, YouTube video, then you don't tend to repeat the video. It just automatically goes on to the next one, or it stops the video depending on how your YouTube settings are. But with these videos, it will replay it, and sometimes you will get people rewatching it a lot. Now, over on Instagram, Instagram also has changed their interface, and I personally don't like this. I find this more annoying, that I have to click more buttons to upload stuff, because this used to be the plus button. But they really want to kind of compete with Instagram. So when people are potentially going to check out Reels, they put it literally front and center. You click this button and you will see those vertical videos on Instagram that you swipe up, and they're essentially Instagram's answer to Reels. What's interesting is I've shared some of the content that I've created on TikTok. I've just simply multiplied it onto the other platforms, and they do just as well there in some cases. So my most recent reel, you can see that people are liking it like pretty much several times a minute or every other minute. This one currently, I uploaded it maybe a week ago. It's got 4,000 likes and definitely a few dozen thousand views in total. So this is on Instagram. So even though I'm mostly referring to TikTok, whatever you create, you can put into the other platforms. And because it's put front and center by the YouTube app, you don't see it on the YouTube webpage, but you see it on the YouTube app on your phone. Because of that, and because it's put front and center on Instagram, you're going to more likely see a lot of views span from that. So it is important, and that's just something that we have to accept about this new style of video. So that's why I've just decided to embrace it a little bit. So the again, I want to hear any of your questions and comments that you have for me while I'm talking about this. But moving on, I'm going to kind of split this in two. The first, I'm going to get to how you'd use it as a content creator shortly. But first, I want to talk about how you can use it to consume multilingual content. So one of the things that I do as a polyglot is I have to practice and maintain multiple languages. And I've decided that as a part of my, not my intensive study, like I never used the likes of TikTok as one of my main tools to learn a language. That would be silly. I always tell people you have to speak with real humans. My main central aspect of language learning is always my talks on Skype or Zoom with a real native speaker for practice. But when I feel like I'm in lower energy mode in the evening and I still want to do something to wind down, obviously, you know, there's many ways I can consume content. I can watch Netflix shows that are originally made in the other language. I can I can listen to podcasts. There's a million things I can do. But one thing I've particularly enjoyed is TikTok, and TikTok in the language I'm trying to actively use, including less common languages. I use TikTok on the days I'm actively learning Irish or Gaeilge and American Sign Language. So you would be surprised that even the smaller languages have many communities within them that are building up content. And it's the kind of thing that when you're in low energy mode, you can consume that content pretty quickly. So it's useful for multilingual content. But the thing is, one of the reasons that TikTok has taken off is because of its algorithm. The algorithm learns what you like, and it tends to show you more things that are similar to that. And because of that, you're more likely to stick in the app. So because of that, you have to understand that you need to, in a way, train that algorithm to show you content that you want to see. In our case, that's content in a different language. So let me bring up my screen. All right. So this is my phone. I'll remove the top and bottom just so it's a little less distracting. So as a content consumer, so I want to potentially explore TikTok in other languages. I do that using multiple accounts. I have different accounts for each language that I want to use. And I do this both on TikTok and on Instagram. I'll actually I'll flick forward a little bit. This is the this is a list of my different TikTok and Instagram accounts, and you can see I have quite a lot, and these are separate accounts that I can log into. But I'll go back here just so that's less distracting. And essentially, what this means is if I click my username, so my username is Polyglot Benny Lewis. This is my main account. This is what I kind of think of as my English/multilingual account. But if I click that, then I suddenly see this drop-down list, and these are completely different accounts that I can log into that I've created. So as an example, if I am in Spanish mode, I would go to my account that I have created called Irlandesastre. So I took the word Irish and I made a funny little play on words in as many of these languages as I could. But yeah, Irland Desastre, and it'll show me a TikTok. So that is instantly gone into Puerto Rican accents. I haven't planned for this. This is just kind of whatever the algorithm has randomly decided to show me. So how have I trained it to do that? Well, let me go back here and show you a few things. There's several different things. Firstly, you have your main Instagram account in your native language that you use when you're not in language learning mode, but you create your second or third, or in my case, 12th language learning account. And when you're in that new account, several things you want to do. Firstly, make sure you're logged into that account when you're ready to check out content. Secondly, you click not interested a lot. So if you are scrolling and you see one of those videos, some of them are very uncomfortable because you might see like a young teenager doing a dance that you really don't want to be seeing. Then it's not so bad now. When I first started using TikTok, I saw a lot of those initially, just in the first day or two. So I would just hold my finger on the app, and when I do that, the pop-up would come up, and then you can see there's a not interested broken heart here. So I would press that to let the app know I don't want to see videos like this. I'm obviously not going to do that for this one because this is relevant to my Spanish. I'm interested in hearing this kind of content. So that's the first thing you want to do if you sign into TikTok. You don't like the content, but especially if you don't like the language. So in this one, even if it's a funny, hilarious video that I would generally love, anything that's not in Spanish, I immediately say I'm not interested when I'm logged into Irland Desastre. That's the first thing. The second thing is the videos I do tend to see, I leave a comment on them, just like even me gusta, or like any kind of whatever, depending on the video, you give some kind of a comment about like Puerto Rican accents, for instance, in that video that I just saw. And you make sure you definitely like it, so you engage with the video, and that tells the algorithm you like something like this. But one of the biggest things that has worked for me has been very simply searching for the hashtags. So if we go back into my phone here, you go into Discover in the bottom left, the magnifying glass, and you click search, and then in here you type the hashtags related to the language that you're learning. So I might just type Spanish. I might type Español, Castellano, Spanish TikTok. So obviously for the language you're learning, you're going to be more likely to switch it up, and you'll figure it out. The great thing is you'll use one hashtag, and when you see a video you like, they may have multiple different hashtags. When you see one, you add that hashtag to your favorites. And this way the app knows that it's more likely to show you hashtags along those lines. So these are the initial tricks that will help. And then on top of that, initially, just the For You page is like what we think of as the main page whenever we use an app. The For You page, you want that to be randomly showing you by the algorithm things that you know you're interested in. But initially, you're going to have to click these hashtags and just watch a bunch of the videos just for those hashtags and like them and comment on them. And you might need to do this for a week or so. And then eventually the app will learn a little bit better that you prefer videos along those lines or by those creators. If you really like a video, definitely follow that creator and you're more likely to see more of their stuff. But another thing that I do is I use VPN. And if you're on an iPhone, you can jailbreak it. If you're on Android, you can root your phone. And what this means is that you have options to use GPS faking. So like if I really wanted to learn Colombian Spanish, it can be very hard if I'm just like wherever I happen to live. If I search the hashtag Spanish, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm not going to find a lot. I can search for Colombian Spanish, but that'll obviously give me very limited options. So if I change my GPS, another thing that the app takes into account is it tries to show you people who are in your general region. And you can train it to not do that so much, but it's much easier if you just activate a VPN and say, I'm in Colombia right now. And if you have jailbroken or rooted your phone, you can use these GPS fakes that'll also tell the app that you're in Colombia or whatever you happen to be. And because of that, it'll pass that information on. It'll only show you people in Colombia. And that means people don't have to do the hashtag Spanish and whatever. And what I found really useful about this is that I have been getting up on trends that are happening in these countries that I otherwise wouldn't have known about. Like my Brazilian Portuguese account, I'm seeing all these interesting cultural tidbits of things that are happening right now in Brazil. Maybe they're related to the news, or maybe they're something related to pop culture. And I would not have known that otherwise. I mean, my teacher could tell me, but that comes up in a more artificial way. Whereas this way I'm getting natural exposure by just what's on people's minds. So all of these things help me a lot. And another one is to change your content preferences. So TikTok does have this option here that if I go back into my profile, you can change the app language, and this is just the interface, so that doesn't necessarily change what your content is. But right here under app language is content preferences, and the video languages, that is another thing you're going to want to change. Hopefully the language you're learning is available. Obviously, I've changed it to Spanish so that I'm giving the app as many ways as I possibly can for it to definitely show me content in the language I want to learn. Obviously, in my different accounts, I have a different language set for this. So it's not specific to the app. Like, I'm logged into all these on my phone, and it doesn't mean that every different account that I have, I'm just going to see Spanish videos. It's just for this one account that I happen to be logged into. So that's another thing. Make sure you change that language settings. And then finally, if you feel up for it, if you are someone who likes making content, you make content yourself in that target language. That can be another great way for the app to kind of help you interact with other people. But you'll make friends that way, potentially, at least online friends who you like their content, they like yours, and you'll interact with them. And it's just another way of helping the algorithm. And I do all of these things kind of automatically and naturally at this stage. If I think of a really good idea that might work in Spanish too, I try to upload it. I don't have as many videos on my non-English accounts, but I still do try to make them. So that's everything I wanted to say about using it generally to get exposure to other languages. And I've done this even for my smaller languages, even for a language like Irish. And I can show you that. So here's my Irish account. And like, if you happen to speak any of the languages in the list I'm showing you, check out my account, not just to follow me. And like, obviously, please follow me, but look who I'm following. Because when I see somebody I like who creates content, then I will follow them. So the 24 people I'm following on this account tend to make pretty much only Irish language content. And that's the same with all my other accounts. So just something to keep in mind for that. I'll create the content, and I'll also, and this one for Irish, obviously I can't change the content language to be in Irish, but I will change my GPS location to be in Ireland, typically the west of Ireland, because there's more Irish speakers around there. And it's just another little trick that I happen to use. So I'm seeing a couple of people asking comments, and they're mostly on creating content. So I'm going to get into that part of the talk. I know I've only got 20 minutes left. I want to make sure I got good time for questions at the end. So what do you do if you want to make multilingual content? All right. Well, the first thing is obviously you make that separate account. Like I said, that's what I've done. The next thing is your trends and sounds. So if we go back to my Discover here, then so this is just like, again, the magnifying glass. I press Discover, then I will see what is currently trending. These things change very, very quickly. Some of them I'm just not interested in at all, but maybe I'll see something that I might think, do you know what? I can make something related to that. I can think of an idea related to the language I'm learning. Maybe it's got something to do with a grammar point, or maybe whatever your thoughts are. So for me personally, if I go back into my main account, the one I've gotten the most views and stuff on, then at the moment, I've had great success with two types of videos for me personally. One has very recently, so I'm going to test it out again in the next day or two, very recently gotten already 3,700 370,000 views in just a few days. And that's a tongue twister script that I wrote where I'm kind of talking the tongue twister with myself. But another one that I've had great success with has been taking trending songs on TikTok that are not in English and translating them for people. So let me see if I can find. Here's one that's gotten a million views, and it's a song that you may have heard if you've ever used TikTok. And I basically took the Russian, I tried to lip sync to it, and I put the translation and the romanization as well, so people who don't speak Russian could go along with it. So that's an idea that I had when I saw these trending sounds come up a lot. And just by naturally using the app, I would see them and I'd think, do you know what? I bet you a lot of people don't even know what's being sung in that. And even though I don't even speak Russian myself, I looked into the lyrics, I checked it with somebody who does speak it well. I can lip sync based on the romanization. Generally, I prefer to do this obviously for languages I speak well, but in this case, I just saw it trending so much that it's related to my general niche of helping people learn languages. So I decided, why not? I'll go for it. So you'll naturally see from trends and sounds something that could work for you. And like another thing I just happened to see, I saw a song or music trending for Star Wars around May the 4th, because, you know, may the force be with you, May the 4th. So I did that. Henceforth, you shall be known as Darth. So instead of the joke here is, instead of Anakin being converted to the dark side, it's a polyglot who's out of practice being converted to monolingualism. And so this was the joke that I went with. And some of them, and the thing with when you make this kind of content, some of them will do very well, some of them may not. And that's just something that you have to kind of test. So going back to my list here, you will take a lot of inspiration from watching other people's stuff and enjoying the app yourself and just making a note. So if I see something I think, I might like that, I'll add the video to my favorites so that later on I can check it out and potentially make that video myself. So this is kind of the main thing I do, is I use the app. I'm constantly in the back of my head thinking, could I make a video around this? Now, one thing that's both a cursing and a blessing with TikTok is that, unfortunately, quantity definitely beats quality. So if you're on the likes of YouTube, you might put more effort into your video and then upload it maybe once a week, once a month after you've come up with a good script and so on. But what I found is the TikToks I put the most effort in. Like there are TikToks that I've spent like an entire day trying to make a TikTok. In some cases, I've taken TikToks that were originally YouTube videos that were weeks of work for me and put them on TikTok, and they don't do that well. And unfortunately, the amount of effort you put into making a TikTok does not tell you how well it's going to do. Generally, the way you need to do it on this app, and again, I don't like it that it is this way, but the way it has to be is you have to make as much content as possible. You need to be posting very regularly. If you want to do it really big on TikTok, you have to be posting every day. I'm not posting every day. I'm only posting once every, maybe twice a month at the moment, which is bad. I need to be doing much better than that. I've already gotten so many million views and 30,000 followers in just posting twice a month in the last 6 months. So if I did it every day, I could obviously explode my my following a lot bigger. But that's the thing, is you don't want to overthink the quality of the video. If you have a basic idea you think could maybe work, just do it. Just put it out there. And like, one thing that's interesting is it doesn't matter how many followers you have, you can still go viral from your first ever upload. And it's actually a bit more likely because the app wants to get you hooked. So they give you a little bit more of a boost initially. So those first videos that you make, you're more likely to maybe get some views on them compared to later on. You have to work a little bit harder to make sure the algorithm continues to like your content. But what is interesting about that is it's mostly being seen by people who don't follow you. So I have 30,000 followers, but they're not those 30,000 people are not going to see my videos. Like some videos I'll upload, you can see the recent ones that I've uploaded. Like, one of them only had 300 views, and I decided, I'm just going to make that private. After a whole week, it didn't even get any more than 300 views, despite me having 30,000 followers. But then another one will get like 500,000 just randomly, and it's because your follower numbers don't actually matter in terms of how many views you're going to get and how many likes and how many people you engage with. It doesn't matter how many people follow you. It matters more how consistently you're uploading. So that's kind of the thing you want to do is just have a basic idea. It doesn't matter how silly it is. Doesn't matter how poorly constructed it is. Just get it out there, and maybe people will like it, and you learn with time. And then some other things that are kind of applicable on the likes of YouTube as well is you need a hook immediately, but with TikTok, you need it even quicker. Within the first 2 or 3 seconds, you can't be wasting people's time thinking, I'm going to explain how to roll your R in Spanish. But first, I'm going to like show myself setting up the camera or something like that. You have to get them hooked as quickly as you can. So there's lots of videos online that kind of talk about that, but just keep that in the back of your mind. And everything else doesn't really matter that much. You honestly don't need to overthink this. Like I have overthunk some of my videos, and it hasn't really helped me that much. And the videos that I've just had, I have a silly idea, I'll just record this real quick. Those tend to be the ones that go viral, is the ones I put the least effort into, which is very frustrating because when you put your heart and soul into a video, you really want it to go viral. But generally, it's actually the ones that I don't think about too much that tend to go viral. So that is something I want you to consider. So before I go on to the last slides, I'll just see what your questions are, and feel free to add any more questions in the last 10 minutes. What advice would you give someone who wants to start a language learning or polyglot YouTube channel? Just start, honestly. Like the thing about any kind of content creation is people overthink everything. They overthink, what name should I have for the channel? What should I have the best camera equipment? Most of that doesn't matter. On YouTube, it's slightly more important than on TikTok. But to be honest, I've seen a lot of people explode when even on YouTube, sometimes the quantity still beats the quality. That at least you're uploading once a week or once a month at the absolute minimum. That's what gets you traction. Unfortunately, you're not going to, on YouTube, you're not going to see things go viral in your first few uploads. That is actually genuinely possible on TikTok, that you can go viral in one of your first posts. That's not really going to happen on YouTube. It's very, very rare on YouTube, but it's very common on TikTok. So the problem with YouTube is you need consistency for a very long time. You need to be posting weekly, and you're not going to see a lot of views in those first weeks, but then maybe they'll grow gradually. And after a few months, you'll have a decent number of views. And after a few years, then you'll be getting many, many thousands of views. And that's how YouTube works. It's a consistent, very slow process. And you have to do that. Like I've suffered the consequences of taking a long break. I had some personal life problems I had to deal with, and I took a long break from YouTube. And because of that, anything I've uploaded recently hasn't gotten that same traction, because YouTube, you have to be uploading consistently. And it's kind of similar with TikTok, the consistency. But with YouTube, it's also a case of your followers tend to expect your content in a certain way, whereas TikTok doesn't really care about who's subscribed to you in a way. So yeah, I would say just start uploading the content right now. Think about what you can do. Don't overthink the logistics of like, what kind of beautiful intro will I have? Just fix that later. Post right now and fix as you go. This is how I grew my YouTube channel. It's how I grew my blog. I did not have the most beautiful blog at the beginning. It was an ugly, hideous thing. There were lots of things I didn't know about blogging, but I learned them on the go. So as a YouTuber, content creator, or even a TikToker, you learn on the go, start posting right now. It's very similar to my language learning philosophy of speak from day one. As a content creator, create from day one, post from day one, and that's how you get followers. So Lily had a question. Just while I'm going through people's questions, I'll put this up on screen so you can See, these are the different accounts. I just realized my French account is Irlandais on Instagram, I think, but Polyglot on TikTok. So yeah, for the most part, I have the same username. But if you're learning, this is my main account. This is my language learning account. This is Spanish. This is Irish. This is Portuguese. This is Esperanto. This is French. This is my ASL. This is Italian. This is German. And this is Mandarin. I haven't posted on this yet, but I do plan to post on that very soon. So check out these accounts, not just to follow me, but to see who I'm following on both Instagram and TikTok. And that'll give you content creators who you may actually find are making interesting stuff that'll help you as you learn your language. So I'll leave that there while I'm answering a few questions. How do you start creating content? This is from Lily. How do you start creating content on social media without becoming addicted to it? That's a tricky one, because you can go down rabbit holes and suddenly get addicted to like spending hours and hours and hours on TikTok. I don't really know. You just have to set personal limits for yourself. I try to I literally put in my calendar TikTok for 30 minutes, and that way I know, rather than it being something I might quickly check, because with social media the trap is that you'll think just 5 minutes. I'll just use this for 5 minutes, and then 3 hours later you're still scrolling. Because it's short form content, you can always think, oh, just one more. So with that in mind, what's worked for me is just putting it in my calendar and just deciding, do you know what? I'm going to have a half an hour of scrolling TikTok, and that's going to be from 6 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. and that's it. And there are other things you can do. Your phone can have ways of blocking or only allowing you 30 minutes per day. So there are certain apps, depending on if you use iPhone or Android, that'll restrict your time with those apps. Those have also been very beneficial for me. So look into that as well. Sirachai, how do you deal with the regional restriction of TikTok caused by a registered phone number? My phone number is in Germany, but I create content for Thai people, but not reaching Thailand yet. So some of the stuff that I suggested earlier in the talk is use a VPN. Obviously, your phone number, you can't really do too much about that. You can potentially get online equivalents to your phone number, like a Google Voice or something, but sometimes they don't allow you to use those with these apps. So for the most part, I would change your VPN and your GPS, and you may have to root your phone on Android or jailbreak your phone on iPhones. And you then the app thinks you're in Thailand, and it's more likely to show you your content to people around you in Thailand. Even though you're actually in Germany, you want the app to think that you're in Thailand. So that's what I would recommend for you, is the VPN. And then, of course, interact with more people who produce Thai content using the stuff I said earlier in the talk, and that may help you a little bit. So let's see. Next question was from Ricardo. What kind of content related to languages do people watch the most? So you can imagine a long video is just, it's not going to work on TikTok. So something interesting about the language. One thing that I see that's a little bit silly is people making fun of how strange languages are. You know, like the obvious one is that French has, to say 90, you have to say 2 times or 4 times 20 plus 10. That kind of thing. People will make little jokes about it. I'm trying to go in a slightly different direction from that with some of my videos. I want to be a bit more encouraging, but generally, you have to imagine, for getting people's attention in a short span of time, it has to be entertaining. So educational it can work on TikTok, and I'm trying to figure that out, but generally entertaining has to work better. So you have to think, what's funny about this language? And people will share their experiences going to a country and making, using a false friend, maybe saying embarazado in Spanish, that kind of thing, that are typical, funny things you might laugh about. And you might imagine seeing memes just as you scroll through Facebook or Instagram. Maybe you think to yourself, could I make that meme into a TikTok? Sometimes you literally just have to say the meme out loud, turn it into a basic dialogue with yourself, where you're literally recording one side of the conversation, then recording the other side of the conversation. You see that with a lot of people. It's like, I would like to think, I'll put a different costume on, I'll put myself in a different scenery. But for some people, it's just so simple. Just put yourself as two different people talking to each other. Maybe like wear a hat in one of them just to distinguish yourself as a different character. But that's it, really. You take something funny and interesting about the language and you turn it into something like that. Okay. Hopefully, I'll get through. I've only 4 minutes left. I'll try to get through as many of your questions as I can. Just as I get through these last questions, I do want to say right after this live stream, if you miss any of the stuff I'm talking about, I'm actually going to be live on Twitch. So twitch.tv/polyglot. Polyglot is my username on Twitch. I'll be playing GeoGuessr. So check that out. It's a fun game where I'm plunked somewhere random in the world. I have to figure out where I am. And I'm just going to be live streaming right after this. I know there's only one talk left for the Polyglot Gathering, but I'm going to be streaming for about 2 or 3 hours. So you will find me. If you don't use Twitch, you'll also just search for Polyglot Gamer on Facebook or YouTube. And those are different accounts to the main ones I've used. And you'll find me on those also. And you'll be able to continue the conversation with me if you missed out right now. And just see me trying to see, can I figure out where I am in the world? So yeah, just wanted to say that real quick as I'm going through the final questions. Brigham says, have you found TikTok Reels and Shorts that help significantly with lead generation for your Fluent in 3 Months business? Not significantly, but when something goes viral, so when I've had those videos with millions of views, then I do, I've been testing out unique links, not just fluent3months.com, but special landing pages on my website. So I know where people are coming from. And I do see a spike in traffic. Unfortunately, it's only when I'm going viral. So for when a video is not going viral, I don't see a lot of flow over. But fortunately, going viral is a lot easier than people think on TikTok. It's like, it's really hard to go viral on YouTube and other platforms. On TikTok and now on Instagram as well, Instagram Reels, it is easy to go viral. So if you're posting stuff, you'll see spillover. So that's the kind of benefit I've had from that. Ricardo says, what tools can we use to create content on TikTok? You don't need any tools. You literally just use the app to record. Generally, what I prefer to do is record just using my phone's regular camera and to edit it either in like basic video editing software in my phone so that I can upload it to multiple platforms. Because if you just upload it directly to YouTube, you have those little kind of flashing TikTok symbols on it, and it just looks ugly on other platforms, and they're trying to reduce that. So I try to record it just on my phone. I might edit it if it's a really difficult thing. I might edit on Premiere on my computer, but I try to make it as simple as possible, do it quick as possible, and then just record it on my phone and then upload it. So that's all I recommend. Ricardo, is it possible to make a profit on TikTok? Yes, it is. And I know people who, once they've reached a decent traction with their videos, they may use a hook at the end of it. So I have one friend who talks about travel, for instance. And whenever she says, here's how I travel for months at a time, even though I'm working online, and whatever she says, at the end of the video, she'll say, I'll give my top tips. If you sign up to my email list, just click the link in the bio. And she'll make sure that her pitch is as small as possible, but that's all she says. And she's actually gained 30,000 email subscribers thanks exclusively to TikTok. And because of that, she can pitch them in a more strategic way on her email list. So TikTok is not going to directly make you money, but it is a potential way to get more people to other platforms where you can make money from them. Is it more, so Srirachi says, is it more recommended to have more accounts based on the number of languages you want to create follow content in? It depends on you. I mean, I happen to be flicking between my 12 languages or whatever number you can see here. And I'm not creating content in all of them. Like, I have not created any videos in the Esperanto or Mandarin accounts yet. But I still turn into them as a content consumer. I think it's beneficial. Like, maybe I'll have a video go viral on one of the other accounts, but I don't know about how practically I'll make money from them. So realistically, you should only really be doing this for 2 or 3 languages maximum if you're putting serious effort into them. So I would only consider maybe my Spanish, Brazilian, and French ones as one I could potentially grow big audiences from, that I'm willing to put effort in. And all the other ones I just use as a content consumer and for language practice. So yeah, that's what I want to say on that. Natalie says, I'm considering Reels on Instagram versus TikTok videos. Should the videos be different on both platforms? I often see people upload the same video on both media. Yeah, so one thing Instagram said they're going to do is the watermark I mentioned that says TikTok, TikTok, TikTok. You just see that in the video. Instagram are trying to make it so that those come up less often in the algorithm, because obviously Instagram don't want to be promoting another platform. So that's the problem. And that's why, like I said, I prefer to record it so that I don't use TikTok's record feature that's built into the app itself. I would just record it myself on my phone's regular camera, use special editing software on my phone or just on my computer, and then upload the finished video to TikTok and that same video to Instagram. One thing that's frustrating is some of my videos might be like 40 or 45 seconds long. And unfortunately, they can't get uploaded right now to Instagram Reels because Instagram Reels has a 30-second limit. So I have to work around that, maybe make a shorter version of the video or just upload it as a regular video, because regular videos on Instagram can be 60 seconds. It's not quite as good as Instagram Reels because you can't go viral as easily. But yeah, I would just make the same video and upload it to different platforms. Yeah, that's kind of the majority of all the questions that people had. So again, you can join me, like within 5 minutes, I'm going to be over on twitch.tv/polyglot. And I can take a couple more of these questions, but I'll mostly be talking about how I'm using various clues to figure out where I am. If you're watching this after the fact, still follow or subscribe me on these channels. You'll still see me play games online and be available to have a quick, easy chat with people. So even if you're watching the next Polyglot Gathering talk after me, still join me. I'll be there for a couple of hours streaming this game. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciated all of your questions. I hope you found this interesting. And make sure to follow me on my all of my accounts here that may be relevant to the language you're learning. You'll see what I'm doing. You'll see who I'm following. And best of luck with your own TikTok creation and exploration. Thank you, everybody.